Hi, Dominic here from kilowatt.ie, and in this video we'll look at some tools that you can use if you want to figure out how much solar panels would save you on your electricity bills, and specifically for Ireland, but it will apply to other countries as well. So I have five tools here to look at. The first is PV Watts. So this is a classic. We go to pvwatts.nrel.gov. And we start off by entering a location here. So you type in your location. Let's just put in Ireland. Click go. And okay, here it is. It took a minute to load. So it's picking Dublin as the nearest location. I think it might give you a few options here. Yeah, so you can take whichever location on this is closest to you. Let's go with Belmullet, for example. Next, on to the system details. We have the system size. 4 kilowatts is about a medium-sized system. Although for anyone who has space, it makes sense to go at least, I'd say, 5, ideally 6 or 7. The system losses, the default in here I think is 14 point something, which is fairly conservative. You could put it in at 12. It's probably realistic for modern PV systems. Tilt 30 degrees is about typical for a pitched roof, and azimuth 180 is perfectly south in this case, so let's say it's a little bit off south, 140. And you can click advanced if you want to put in some extra details for accuracy. On to the next part, we click go to PV Watts results. And here it is. So this is the annual electricity generation that you can expect. And this is a month by month breakdown, and AC energy is what you're interested in here. So this doesn't give a financial, it's just electricity units per year. So if you want to get a financial estimate from this, you need to use a calculator. So I'll open a calculator here. Okay, so we can take this, our annual electricity production in units, and we can multiply it by the average value of each unit. So around 25 cents would be a reasonable estimate currently, so we put it in as 0.25 euros, and that gives us just about €1,000 per year in savings. So there you have it. That is the estimate from PV Watts. Relatively simple. It's been around a long time and it does the job quite well. So one thing about this though, it doesn't really have very precise or fine-grained location data. You're looking at your nearest station could be 100 kilometers away with this tool. So the next tool addresses that. So it is full satellite historical weather data. And as you can see, this is PVGIS, European Union PVGIS. You can open the map and you can scroll in, and it's color coded. So the dark blue area is the lowest energy generation or lowest solar potential. And as you get in towards this green color, you have the higher potential. So we can stick our marker in here somewhere. Let's just say County Clare. And this can be a little bit technical. If you find this intimidating, hang on for the next tools. We have some much easier ones coming up. All the same, it's not particularly hard to use. These defaults are just fine here. Mounting position, probably going to be roof added for most people. And slope 35, that's about realistic. Let's put it in as 30, just to be consistent with the last example. Now azimuth, in this case 0 is south, so we can put it a little bit off south. Let's put it at 40, because most people don't happen to have a perfectly south facing roof. They have to go with the closest thing that they've got. We can add in here also a little financial estimation. So let's just say that our system costs €8,000. Interest 5%. Should we do that? No, let's just put it in as 0 to keep things simple. Lifetime 25 years, and where is it going to ask us about the electricity price? It's not. Interesting. 5 kilowatts peak power, let's say. Okay, visualize results. Okay, so there you go. We have energy output month by month. And here is our, where is the yearly energy production? So in this case, it is estimating, instead of 3,978, here we've got an estimate 4,256. So it's in the same territory roughly. And we would do the same calculation there to get the annual value of that electricity. Is a little bit over €1,000 by this estimate. Now, interestingly, it asked us about the system cost, but doesn't seem to have given any results based on that. But anyways, that's how you can use it. And we also have the option to generate a PDF report, which is handy if you want to share that. Okay, the third tool, and I'll throw in a disclaimer here. This is something I created myself. It's Nimble Solar. It is not really aimed for people to do their own estimates. It's more for solar installers who want to produce a report like this to offer a potential client. However, it is a handy way that if you want to produce one of these for yourself or to share with someone, you can go right here to create proposal, and there is no need to create an account. You can just work it as a guest. So it'll take a moment to load. And in this case, we can type in a location rather than finding it on a map. So let's just say O'Connell Street, Limerick. We have lots of options here that are not really needed. Customer name, etc. Demo proposal. We don't really need that. And over here you can see if we have multiple batches of solar panels on different roofs that may be facing different directions, then this is where the array 1, 2, 3 come in handy. So you can have up to 3 arrays. So some people might have a roof that's one side facing east and the other facing west, and might put panels on both sides. So let's just say I had 3 kilowatts on each side. So 3 kilowatts facing west and 3 kilowatts facing east. In here, let's just skip this. We don't need that. This is more for solar installers. Now over here we need to put in the value of electricity per unit assumed. Let's stick with the 25 cents. And we can also put in for a financial estimate. So let's say you're going to pay €9,000 pre-grant, and you get a government grant of 2,100, and it's a 0 tax rate in Ireland. So we hit generate proposal, and it'll take about 5 seconds. And there we go. So we have generated our PDF document with some details of how the system works. We have monthly, month by month energy generation here. We have the return on investment, and we have technical details. Now I think I made a mistake here somewhere. I meant to put in 3 kilowatts on the west, and I meant to put in 3 here as well. So let's go again, generate proposal, and fix that. Okay, this is more like it. So how we have generation month by month, and also broken down by the array. So this is array 1 east, array 2 west, or vice versa, I can't remember. total electricity generation per year, and then we also have the investment return. So we start out with an initial sunk cost of the system, and that gradually gets paid back in savings year by year, so that by year, after about 6 years, we're in the green. And then, as you can see, after 25 years, the overall benefit is very substantial compared to not going solar. Here we have some pricing details, and here is the technical information. So yeah, we said 90 degrees facing one way east, minus 90 west, and we have approximately the same generation from each side. So that is Nimble Solar. Now we've only got 2 left, and these next 2 are going to be pretty quick. This is clareenergy.ie. It's some sort of energy cooperative, and they have this tool online. So it is a financial payback calculator for solar panels. So again, we have system size, system cost. I think 9,000 we used before. Now we need to go 2 steps. So for Claire Energy, we first need to go with estimate your PV production. So we can enter our error code in here, slope, size of the system 5. So we enter the error code in here, and this will get solar data for this location. And here we go. So we have the estimated generation per year, so we can copy that and now go across to the payback calculator. So we can paste that in here. Electricity cost 0.25. I think this was probably created around the time of the real electricity price spike, because 0.45 is it's substantially higher than right now. We could assume 50% self-usage and hit submit. Now, one thing I have to say I love about this here, it's super zippy fast, and I love this just yellow highlighter colour. It's nice and just as straightforward as could be. So we have an 8-year payback. We have this much savings on electricity bills basically, and this much earnings from the export, and a 12.7% ROI, which 7.9 years payback doesn't sound super exciting, but when you look at it this way, ROI, and compare that to the interest you would get on deposit in a bank, which might be 3% or something, it shows that, this investment does make a lot of sense for a lot of people if you have the money to do so. So on to the final tool, and again, this is one I created myself, so that's a little caveat. So if you go on to kilowatt.ie, hover over more and go to Solar Simulator, then over here we put in our electricity consumption profile. Now the most accurate thing to do, I strongly recommend this, is go to upload smart meter data. Click browse or just drag and drop into this box, and here are instructions where to get that data. It's from ESB networks. And this means that the calculation will not only be tailored for your location, but it'll also be tailored for the way you use electricity, so that the website can actually calculate how many electricity units will you use yourself and how many will be exported. It's not a perfect calculation, but it's certainly better than not running the calculation. So it's going to get you really close to the real savings per year. But for this example, let's just run with an annual average. We can set the size of the solar PV system here. So I think we were going with 5 in all the examples. And we already have some quick estimates here. But to be even more accurate, we can enter our county. We can enter the slope of the panels. 30 degrees is set as default. Shading loss, so if you have absolutely no shade at all, it's probably going to be 2%ish, because you still are going to even have bird droppings and maybe leaves blowing onto the panels in the autumn, etc. So unless you're out washing them every week, you're not going to get to 0. 5 would be minor shading, 10 would be, maybe one tree nearby that's not right over the panels, and so on, up to, if you really have heavy shade, you could be losing 40%, but you probably wouldn't put solar panels there in such a case anyway. So we've got run with 5%. We were using the example of slightly off south in every case so far, so we'll stick with this. And then in financial, you can enter the electricity unit rate. So for this whole time, we've been using 0.25 just flat, so we can just remove these and assume it's a simple 24-hour tariff that you're on. And right here, if you know what the installation cost will be, you can enter that. 9,000 euros, that is fine. And there we go, it updates automatically. Let's hide this. And here are the results. So these are your annual savings on electricity bills or earnings, etc. No, sorry. This is your bill pre-installing solar panels, and this is your bill after installing solar panels. So we've gone from 1,200 to 400 approximately. And here is the financial kind of breakdown. So we have the gross cost minus grant. This is the net cost to you of the install. This is the annual savings. We have a payback period of 8.3 years and a 12.1% ROI. So I may be biased. I believe this is the most accurate overall, because it takes into account your electricity unit rates and your it's making the most accurate estimate that it can of which units are going to be used on site and which are exported. And one more thing to do here is this can be a good way to play around and see. I'll just remove this. You can play around, and if you untick this, it'll automatically estimate what the installation cost would be. You can now play around, well, what if I had 6.3 kilowatts of solar? What if I had 8 kilowatts of solar?